Good morning. I'm a couple of minutes late. I get it. Quick sound check. There we go. Thank you. It's straightforward. Don't worry about the being late. So here's the situation. 438.40 is an important spot. It's kind of like an early pivot. If they get above, they'll probably close the gap, get up to 439.50 or so. That's an opportunity, if they do it really quick, for a reaction back down in the other direction. That's number one. Write that down, put it on a sticky note. Can't really short 438.40 because it's more or less a coin toss, in my opinion. 437.30, we're not that far away. They've already been down there. You can get a reaction in the other direction. First time, best time, but you have to consider it a zone between 437.30 and 436, give or take. All right. If they open up wild, they can spike everything. If they open up and start limping along, 437.30 is more likely to be a bounce. If they're down there right out of the chute, they could cut through it a little bit, but it's a zone and you're still going to get a reaction in the other direction from somewhere within the zone, 437.30, 436.30, 436, somewhere in there. Okay, so understand where we are. Okay, let's just do this real quick. Not that. It's a pullback in an uptrend. You're far from home base. I'm not saying they're coming down here or anything like that today. I'm just saying that you have to understand that pullbacks are normal garden variety stuff. What's this low? 436.23. Makes sense? Breakup candle low. Got that? Write it down. Put it on a sticky. There's a method to the madness, okay? So if they're down there, there's going to be a bull-bear battle. Normally, more often than not. That's the way it works. Okay? Couple of stocks on the move. We'll see what happens. One thing from a housekeeping perspective, I have to cut out early on Thursday. So I'm going to ask Jordan. I haven't asked him yet. If he's listening, he'll respond. If not, I'll ask him later. If he'll take on the room after the morning rush, I'll be here for the morning rush, but then I got to cut out. I have to be somewhere. All right. So just a heads up. That stuff happens. One-man band. That's the way it is. I have stuff just like everybody else to take care of. Sometimes I can't avoid it. All right. Half a minute to post time. We'll see how they open up. Of course, everything's a give or take. 437.30 is a give or take. We're talking pennies, you know, a nickel, 4 or 5 cents, 7, 8 cents. Start getting much more than that, and they're just playing games. There we go. Okay. Pretty close. Okay, it's showtime. That's the first area of interest right here. Showtime. Let's see what we got. We're in showtime. They can spike it. They can rip it right here. Anything goes early in the morning, morning rush. This is the way it is. They come a little lower. It's not a big deal. It's normal garden variety stuff. They just happen to be in the zone. Okay. What's the target? Call it 438.15. You know, it's 438.40, but you got to be out in front if they rip it higher. Okay. Meaning if they bounce right here. You're looking for, you know, 5 to 7 points for the scalp. You want to stretch it a little bit to 438, 10, 20, 15. That's okay. But you got to be smart about it. What do they give you so far? 4 points. Patience. They come back down. It's not a big deal. It's part of the morning rush situation. They don't have to. I'm just saying if they do, it doesn't mean it's wrong. This is a spot. All right. The scalp portion's over. Rest is trader's choice. Nice job. What do we got? We got takers. We got long players. We got trades. What do we got? Come on. Who's long? Who took profit? Who started the week off nicely? Thomas, good job. Mike, great job. Everybody, great job. Tyler, John, Sean, Robert, Jack, Dirk, Jeff, and the list goes on and on and on. What a great start to the week, right out of the chute. All right. Just protect it. What did they get a high to? Oh, wait. See, holding a trailer is fine. Don't let the remainder go bad on you. In fact, you know, just protect it. Make sure. Anything goes, still morning rush. 438.40 is overhead resistance. Again, in front of it was the exit, is the exit, whatever, another exit, however you want to look at it. You know, it's trader's choice from here. You got to make decisions. I give you the information. You have to do what you're comfortable doing. Nice job, Alos. You new? I don't remember the name. Welcome aboard if you are. Nice job. Ilya, great job. Bob, out with profit. I mean, the list goes on. Just fantastic start, folks. I didn't think they'd give it to us right out of the chute. They generally don't. Nice when they do. My secondary push, getting right to the spot. So those that haven't exited can exit right here. You can hold it, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. I suggest you have booked something, booked the base hit. You get a double, triple, or anything else, that's gravy. That's fantastic. We pile up the base hits because the base hits put you in the Hall of Fame, one at a time. You don't need a home run every day. It would be great, but it's not going to happen. Be realistic about this business. Well done. Now we wait. We wait for the next thing. 438.40 will likely be some overhead resistance. Shorting it there is a trader's choice. After a long like this, in an uptrend, I'm not so inclined to do that. That's a really aggressive move. Because if they get above, they're going to go up and try and fill a gap, or at least get close. It's a nice push going on. If you stayed long, you ride it. This was the design of the morning trade. All right, so this one's done, technically. Now 438 is some overhead resistance, so they stay below, it opens the door back down to 437.30 or the lows. Spike the low, rip it back up. That would be on the table, but 436 is still the other end of the zone. So if they spike the low, they can come all the way down to 436, 436.35, give or take. Okay, can. Don't have to, can. Sorry for a minute. Spike the low, 437.09 is the low. Anywhere in between there and 436 is another opportunity for a snapback, and I'll be back in 30 seconds. About another test of 437.30. What was the low just now while I was gone? 31. Any accidents or coincidences? No, not at all. Look at that rip. That was a quick test of the same spot. I wasn't advocating buying that spot, but that was a quick test of the same spot. Pretty interesting how that works, isn't it? Now we wait. Again, lower isn't off the table. Now we have patience. We wait for what we want. What do we have going on around the horn? Let's check it out.
Bulls has been trying to make its way to the first level.
Okay. IWM's down on par with the spiders, so can't really tell anything there. Smash mouth is flat. Transports are up a little bit. Still opening the whole week. It's not a big deal just yet. Pardon me. That's it. That's all we have. We had a retest of the same spot. Nothing more, nothing less. Also, until they start closing candles above 438, then lower is not off the table. Just look at it that way. Be patient. We wait for them to do something we want. It might be a little late. Alcoa is at a spot right here, down to 33.80. This is a spot right here. This is where it's wrong. That's where it's wrong. Meaning if they start closing candles below there on Alcoa, call it 33.40, 33.39. That's where it's wrong. Looking around for other stuff. Spiders start pushing up above 438. It's 438.40. That is not a short at this stage. Could have been some kind of opportunity before, but now that they've eaten time off the clock, it's not. That's my opinion. That's taking the risk reward into account after a long trade from the number and then a retest of the number. Now we would say if they get above 438.40, they would run up to 439.40 eventually. And if they did it quickly, 40 to 55. And if they did it quickly, that may be an opportunity. We wait for the good stuff. Anybody take Alcoa? Anybody in Alcoa? Anybody interested in Alcoa? Okay. Okay, we have some players in Alcoa. Thank you. There's nothing to wait for anymore, Jerome. It's over. In other words, the trade is over. If it came back down and somebody's in it, that's one thing. You probably wouldn't let it go bad at you at this point. There's the pop in Alcoa. You didn't get the 1% yet, but you have to realize 430, 420, 25 will be some natural resistance. They could pull back again. Doesn't mean they will, doesn't mean they have to. Just know that. Spiders can't get through 438, so that is overhead resistance. But if they eat time off the clock around there, like they're doing, then it's fine, and they'll continue higher eventually. Above 430, 425 on Alcoa, and that should give you a secondary run. On the spiders, if they do it, the spike the low and rip it back up is still on the table. They can't get above 438, they're going to come back down. And we'll see if they bounce off 437.30. Is the third time going to work? The first time worked, the second time worked? Not sure about the third time. Alcoa, the high was 29. That was my point. That area around 25 is natural. Be patient. Anywhere between 437.09 and 436 is the next zone. Do it. Don't be trigger happy and buy the same 437.30 again. Not that it won't work, but that's not the trade. You see what goes on around 437.30. Again, that reconfirms for the second or third time that that number, that area is really important. And you just know that by virtue of what happens when they get there. The market just showed it to us. So it's not magic. We don't chase it around. Just because they bounced in front of the low doesn't mean anything. You didn't miss anything. They either give you what you want or you move on to the next thing when it arrives. There's always another trade around the corner. But they have to give you what you want. You have to be comfortable in the trade. And if they give you what you want, your comfort level goes up. If they don't give you what you want and you're guessing and you're hoping, you begin the trade in an uncomfortable position. And then you make bad decisions as a result. Yeah, that's what we were just saying, Nick. You could tell by virtue of what actually happens in real time. Forget the lagging indicators from Joe's indicator shop. Once you have a number, and we had it ahead of time, then you watch what they do around the number. It confirms that's an important place. Alcoa is doing fine. Just make sure that you take some profit in Alcoa coming up here shortly. I guess, Paul, that's the stuff that happens when you guess, right? All right, here we come. All right, there it is. So showtime again, activated. They can come lower, so realize that. Doesn't mean the trade's wrong. It means this is the beginning of the zone. That's it. 437.30 will obviously be the spot. If they get back above it, there'll be a slingshot up again. Should be. Nice job, Jerome. Take the base hit. Go about your business. Nice job. What about it, Terry? Is there a question in there? No change. 437.30 is a target, and if they get above, there should be a slingshot up another at least 25, 35 cents for starters. Nice job, Jeffrey C. One was mine, one was yours. That's fine. Yeah, they could still do it, meaning spike the low again. You know, this is the zone. Could take some time. Some traders already took a scalp off. Some traders are holding. Some traders are willing to buy in the middle and towards the bottom end of the zone, and all those are fine. There's something for everybody. There's more than one way to do this. And I'll repeat the same thing I always say, which is if you're interested in buying the top of a zone, like with a short spike of the former low around 437.09 and stuff, then you had to be willing to buy lower. Otherwise, you have to wait for the lower if, and it's an if you're a one entry type of trader, one trick pony, meaning one ES contract, one whatever. One thing I can say is that if you, not you individually, but you as general anybody, tries to alter my process, you're going to have different results. You have to stick with the program. So the opening range low is the same 437.09. Why is that important? Because that's the opening range low, and they're going to fight to stay above that. The next number I have on the board is 436. Doesn't mean they have to get there, but it means they can get there, Jeff. You want to buy 436.30 knowing what that is? There's nothing wrong with that. It's not that far away. They come up short. That's around the spot they'll come up short. So you're reading it correctly. The question was, is the next buy 437.35, right? Give or take 30. That breakup candle low we talked about before. The answer is my number is 36, 436. We identified what 436.30 give or take is, and therefore we wouldn't be surprised if they came up short of my number and found support at the breakup candle low. So that's the little tiny zone down there of 30 cents, 35 cents that we're talking about. So if you know that those two numbers are there, mine is one, the breakup candle low is another, then you say, hey, look, if they spike the low, the breakup candle low, they're doing it to get to 436. If they don't, then that'll be support, and that's good enough to know what's down there. And that was the conversation with Jeff. Knowing what we're looking at on the chart is an enormous advantage, meaning knowing where these important places are and what's likely to happen there. Not every single time, but most of the time. It gives you such an advantage by people that are just guessing, playing on a 1 minute chart because they did this, this is going to happen, cause and effect, all that stuff. None of it matters. The numbers matter. We've proven that over time. And sometimes those things will coincide with the numbers, which gives those people a sense that what they're looking at works, which keeps them in the game, right? We have to keep them feeding us the volume, keep them feeding us the liquidity. That's all. See how they're hanging around the opening range low? That's not abnormal. That's better. That's better too. There you go. And there's the second scalp with potential. The scalp portion is basically in your pocket. Should take a base hit somewhere around here, a little higher, should have been, your 5 to 7 points. They gave it to you. A lot of you took the spike of 437, all that stuff. Nice job. Right, take some profit over there. Nice job. Lee, Sean, Ron, Carmine. Yeah, nice job, folks. Just pile up the base hits. They'll give you the doubles and triples and home runs when they give them to you. Whether it's this one or the next one or the next one after that or whenever, they'll give it to you. But you take the base hits when they give them. Yeah, Will, 6,200 on the day. How you doing today? No change to the zone. Is there another play it again, Sam? If they come down again, probably. Never know what they're going to give you. Good job, Will. I know. It's a pretty good start to the week. And keep it in your pocket. Not that you don't take another trade if one comes up, but don't do the stupid stuff. You know that. Don't guess. They give it to you, great. If they don't, keep it in your pocket. The one thing we do as traders, the mentality is we have a big profit in our pocket and we say, all right, well, now I'm playing with the house's money. So we go out on the risk curve and we start to speculate a little bit and take a trade hoping that it's going to be, a nice whatever. And then we lose. And we don't do that. You're not playing with the house's money. You're playing with your money. You got it already. Once it's in your pocket and in your account, it's your money. There is no such thing as the house's money. I understand the term. Conceptually, I get it, but I'm telling you, it's your money. Okay, here you go again. I would say you wait for 436.30 to 436 or a spike of 436, and that's the spot. Okay, be right back. You make them get as low as possible. My number is 436. You know about 436. Let's get the exact number. 23. Okay, 23. If they're going to spike 436, you see this pivot low. That's not magic, but it's around a big fat round number, 435.13. From an intraday perspective, 435 is one of those numbers. So you say a pivot low around one of those numbers with my number below it, you're going to get a bounce back in there somewhere. So if they spike it, that's the zone. Okay. There's another trade in here. It's coming. Okay, here they come. They're running a test of that breakup candle low. So they're pretty much in the next zone based on what we discussed. All right, 436.01 so far. Okay. They don't have to get to 435. I'm telling you, they're going to fight back to 436 at some point. It's a really important spot, 436.23. The Qs want to get to this spot, right? So spiders may continue down or slump along, go lower until the Qs get there, and they're getting there now. Now you start to say, all right, where's the morning low coming in? 430, 450, 435, right here. We don't know, but we start thinking about where's the morning low coming in? Are they at an important spot to make a morning low, bounce a little bit, be quiet, float up? Selling is done for a while, maybe make a higher low, or maybe just rally. We don't know. Or lower high, I should say. That didn't sound right. You know, if they bounce up to here or here and make another high and come down again, that's a secondary high. It's a lower high. Nice job, Ilya. Not bad for an hour's work. Remember, I said they're going to fight back to 436. They're fighting back to 436. Right? Maybe a little higher. They're just in a zone. So bouncing around within the zone is normal garden variety market behavior. In the zone doesn't mean the trade is wrong if you bought it higher. It just means they're still in the zone. Now, Qs are at their number. Let's see if it matters. Let's see if that helps the spiders bounce up a little bit. They get there? Yeah, on the button. 430, 450 is the next number, notwithstanding the pivot we talked about before, okay? This is important here, the low of 435.13, but at the same time, look where you are relative to the spider 30-minute chart, and there's another one. They're spiking through the 50 on the hourly chart. So this is an area. This is important stuff. You know, 430, 450, we didn't know that that moving average was going to be there at the time. What is that, the 100? Yeah, it's the 100 period moving average. We didn't know that was going to be there at the time. I didn't know, but it just so happens it is. So we know that that's increasingly more important. You too, Ilya. Job. Yeah, maybe they get to 430, 450. It's possible. On me, Will, you're 100% right, but don't forget, still in the IWM trade. It's the same thing. But you're right. You're 100% right. We're talking about the Qs. When I told you on Friday that, you know, shorting it up in this zone, and the reason I didn't, because I already had another trade on IWM, already took profit in it, and that one's doing fine. So that's just kind of where I was. All right, trying to bounce it. Where? What I told you, right here. See that pivot low? That was important. Qs at their number. Spiders got to that pivot low at the same time, give or take, and they're trying to bounce it again. And they're going to try and fight back at some point to 436. Just call it 436 and a quarter. Jeff, think about, Jeff says, and this is a good point, watch this. Had an old number of 436.05. I don't know whether that was from me or from him, it doesn't matter. Wherever it was from, think about that. If it was an important number and it was on the board at some point, okay, think about what I pointed out with the pivot low at 436.15 or whatever that number was. It's the same place, generally speaking. So if it was important before and they made a pivot low and it gives us something else to look at, that's why that stuff happens. So it makes sense. If it was important once, it's important again, it's important. Plus it's a semi-fat round number. It just is what it is. It's hard to wrap your head around that stuff sometimes, but as simple as that sounds, it's more important than people think. Remember, start, you know, you get almost an hour into the day and you start looking for where is that morning low or morning high going to come in? What's the logical place? Was it 435? Is it 430, 450? Could have been 436. You don't know until you know, but in that general zone makes sense. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but it means it's logical. Time, morning low, hour to 2 hours into the day, they're going to find some kind of a low or a high. Most days, not every day, most days. Sometimes you get a trend day, but they happen infrequent rather than frequent. Just an all-out trend day in one direction, period. No pullbacks or no bounces, one of those things. Transports are down 0.5%, so less than the spider, but down. The IWM is down less than the spider, but down, almost on par. Semis are down almost 1.5%, but they're up so far that it's not out of the ordinary. But the market's definitely weak. Doesn't mean they won't bounce, but it's weak. There's really no positive divergences that we can point to, none that I can see. Keep your eye on Nike. It's not out of the question, even though they bounced in front. 109.30 is still an important spot. But the risk isn't the same now that the participation and the volume has subsided from what it was earlier, regardless of whether it was heavy or not heavy earlier. It's certainly not as heavy now. And therefore, you have to take that into account, what type of bounce you're going to get. And if they start leaking below, how far the second number is, that will help you determine whether or not you even want to look at it or entertain it. The second number is $1.50 away in Nike. So I would say, well, what if they leak lower for 2 or 3 hours to get to the second number and then bounce? Now I'm running out of time on the clock. So that may not be the best idea in the world. What if I buy in the middle? That may be a better idea. So a spike of 109, 108.75, 108.80, 108.60. That's what I would look for if I was interested in Nike. It's just the alter ego stuff. It's just what's on my mind. You could do what you like. You do what you like with the information that I provide. Just ironically enough, the stuff we've got on the board from the lazy swing trader, everything except one thing is up. And the one thing that's down, we've already got a profit on. It's just a risk-free, emotionless trade. So it's pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, I don't know what you want to do with that, Shannon. Yeah, I mean, there's no trade there. Eventually, they're going to bust through. Why are they up there again? To test it one more time or to bust through? I don't know. I would say they're going to go fill this gap. Doesn't have to be today, but first time, best time. Okay. Remember what I said. They're going to fight back above 436 at some point. There you go. They're coming. That's fair, Shannon. Okay with that. Anybody long? Obviously, we do have traders long. I'm just curious to get an inventory. Yeah. Okay. I knew that. Thank you. Well done. Let's get them going. 436 to 436 and a quarter is overhead resistance. Above 436 and a quarter is another 50 cents in it. 436.75, give or take. So Jeff, here's the only thing I would say for the future. Long from 44.17, I would say, as many times as I pointed out, 435 and the spiders, the corresponding place in the ES, would have been reasonable for a second entry. Whether you took the full lot that you wanted at the first number, that's your choice. But I would just say, as many times as I talked about 435, give or take that pivot low, that was an indication that that was going to be important if tested. Just saying for future reference. 436 to 436.35, 25, sorry, is overhead resistance. And if above, the target becomes 436.75. That was, Brent, exactly what I was just talking about. Well done. So you're in the money. Got some traders that took it lower. They're out. Again, something for everybody. You take the top of a zone, you understand, because I've said it 4 million times, that you should be willing to buy lower into the zone. But if you're a one-trick pony, you only buy lower into the zone. That's better. High, 436. Shocker. Sometimes they play out slowly, but this was the third play it against Sam, or second play it against Sam. Got to get above 436. And for the newer folks, you see how we don't get excited. We just do it mechanically. It's a process. We have a plan coming in. We execute the plan. The plan redevelops or further develops during the day. And we just go about our business. And we only trade We only take the trades that make sense, at least to me and to most of us who follow along the process, and we leave the rest for other people. If the market was trading up at the open, we might have been willing to sell, and we would have been able to sell or willing to sell a buy the rip. Sorry, sell the rip. But since it fell, we knew the numbers we were willing to trade at. We don't care which way it goes. That's the point. Whichever way it goes is fine with us. Just looking to make money. That's it. Nice job, Terry. First day trading futures. Well done. It's no different. You just have to get over the hump of it's different. But then you realize it's not different. It's the same. It's all the same stuff. Job, Rakesh. Not sure which one, but either way, nice job. Jerome's up 2K for the day after the last trade. That's a nice day. That's in the adult number camp. That's the way it should be, Terry. Just nice and cool, calm, and collected. When you start to get that sweaty palm situation in a trade, you got too much on, too much exposure, too much risk for you. I've said in the past, I didn't say it today, I said in the past, they're going to test this number come hell or high water. And I kind of got away from saying that because that could come back to bite me in the ass. But they were going to come back to fight to retest 436 come hell or high water, even a little higher. Don't do anything with that at this stage, just saying. Yeah, let me take a look at the light. I'm going to look at it on my other screen and then I'll pop it up here. I have a bigger screen. Pretty nice run. To see, let's take a look at light. It's having a nice run today. Let's look at it from a weekly chart and we'll work back down. So this stuff doesn't matter. All right. You see this big breakup candle, breakdown candle, pardon me. And you see this low here. Just think about this. Market comes all the way down and it makes this low and it bounces up. So from here, 65 and change, 66 bucks, bounces up to 75 and a half. Okay, so that's a decent bounce. So you say, all right, well, the market must have thought that price was important down here at 65.70, right? What's the low? 65.66. So it's almost gotten there today, 65 and change. That's resistance and above, and then look what you have. You have a gap. You have a lot of white space to this gap over 70, 70.40, 70.50. So you see, they're at an important place, and if they can keep going, they're going to want to fill that gap. But there's nothing you could do with it now. It's kind of like you can't buy it high hoping it goes higher. It's not how it works. But that's light. Okay, it's the best I can tell you in light. No, below, what did I write? Below 435.50 begins to open the door for the lows and 434.50. 435.50 is short-term support, but if they get below, it'll open the door for lower. You're welcome and you're welcome. Rakesh and Mark, both, anytime. Yeah, here's that place. Believe somebody calls me while the market's open. Can't imagine that. Okay, let's see what we got. 435.42 so far. I'm here just watching. Nothing's different than it was before. They just haven't got above 436 yet. They tested it once, but they haven't got above yet. That doesn't mean anything other than they haven't got above yet. Got it, audio. Thanks, Thomas. TLT, yeah, my point was, and Jacob says TLT is breaking that high, and why are they up there so quick is generally means that they want to go higher. Just in this, you got higher lows. They're right back up there, found resistance. I mean, essentially, this was an area they really broke down from, came back to test it, sold off. Tested it again, a little bit of a retrace, right back up 2 days later, 1 day later, sorry. That's not a short. That's my read. There, spiders are right back up to 436. This time, maybe they get to 436 and a quarter and go. We'll see. Here they come. There we go. Morning low down here, 10:30. Not bad so far. All right, so everybody's in the money. There you go. Regardless of where you bought it, everybody's in the money. Some better than others. Yeah, 436 and a quarter resistance, and the high is what? 436 and a quarter so far. Funny how that works, isn't it? Not really. Why did they test 436 and a quarter? Let's reiterate it one more time. Why does it keep doing that? The low here is 436.23. I'm rounding it to a quarter. That's the breakup candle low. They're going to fight that at some point. That was the first fight. Meet you behind the school at 4 o'clock. First fight. All right, give it another shot. Anybody make money on this trade? Anybody get a 3 for today? Anybody have any complaints? We got some 2-fers, 3-fers. There you go. 3 for 3, 3 for 3. Michael, Kyler got some 2-fers, which is fantastic. Don't minimize a 2-fer. 20 points for Lee on 2-fer. Nick, 2-fer. Alan got 1. Jerome, 3-fer. John W, 2-fer. Carmine, 2-fer. Nice. Nice job. Another 2-fer. Bandar. Sorry if I botched that, but not great job. It's more important that you make money than I get your name right. It's important I get your name right, but it's more important you make money. All right, I'm gonna walk away for a few minutes and stretch them out. I'll be right back. All right, 3 to 5 minutes. Thanks, folks. It's a great job so far. Be right back. Right, exactly, Terry. You can call me anything you want. All right, I'll be right back. Anybody have any questions, comments, complaints? All right, it's really slow now, and this is gonna pretty much do it for the morning session. Stay on a little while longer, but that's it. Not looking for anything else right now. It's too slow. You need participation. That's why you have to get them early. Morning business. No, there's no change, John. It's actually what it is. Tomorrow's an important day. Let's just realize that. This is for everybody, not just John. I call it a tinfoil hat day. It's basically the beginning of summer, and it's a natural break in season. It's the summer solstice, 21st. Can be a shift in the market. Can be a shift in the market. Don't know that it will be. You can't make a trade based on that. I'm just telling you for awareness purposes, whether it's in here or in the video, beware. They trade down into these things or up into these things. You look, they didn't trade up into this thing, and is one day down or Friday and today down, is that enough to say, oh look, they're trading down into this thing? It's not enough, but they certainly could go back up. Can. They're in an uptrend. They can always go back up in an uptrend. Oh, that's good, Shannon. Jerry testifies to Congress tomorrow. Could be an excuse. Yeah, who knows what he's going to say? He's not going to want to say anything that could rattle the market, but who knows? I didn't know he was testifying. That's good information. Thank you. Could make for a little volatility. Certainly take that. That's good for us. Get above 436 other than a test. Yet, yeah, Wednesday and Thursday. Usually it's one day with the House and one day with the Senate, maybe something like that. Maybe 10% of those people over there will ask an intelligent question. 90% ask questions given them by somebody else. They don't even know what they're talking about. They sound stupid. And he tolerates it. He has no choice. Yeah, they'll showboat. They'll start telling them how prices have spiked in their communities and all that stuff. That's normal. They think their constituents are watching. 5% of the people are interested in politics, and a fraction of those are actually even know that he's testifying. So it's a non-event in the big scheme of things, although it can certainly add some volatility to the market in the short run because the market pays attention. But that's it. Most people don't even know he's testifying, nor do they care. How do I know 5% of the people are interested in his politics to begin with? I just use logical reasoning. If you take the amount of viewers that watch politics at night, like MSNBC, CNN, and Fox and all that stuff, you add them together and then against the total population, it's nil. It's mid-single digits. Most people that are interested in politics are at least watching something for a while. So you eliminate them. That's 5%, give or take. It's nonsense. Everybody votes who they're told to vote for. They vote the party line. Either party can run Donald Duck as a candidate, and they would, they'd vote for him. It's a slow motion attempt to get over 436. Qs are trying. That can help the spiders. We don't know it will, but it certainly isn't going to hurt. Financials are getting hit. Terry rolling in. Let me read some stuff. Take a look, Terry. You tell me. You tell me. What do you think, Terry? Just by looking at the chart. No. That's not what that means. Not at all. There's a gap above too, isn't there? You just asked, did we fill the gaps? And I said, no. Well, I said, you tell me. But the answer is no, you were right. But that doesn't mean it's going up or down. Sure, Stevie. But just be careful about being a one-trick pony. You know, one contract in the MES is, you can do two. One-trick pony is very difficult. Here's how you do it. So let's bring up the ESU contract 2023. That's a September expiration contract. And we look at these charts and we say, okay, let's give an example. If we're looking for 430, 450 to buy it, what's the corresponding number and how do you get there in the ES? Well, you do this. Where are we? We're at 435, 75, 80, okay? Let's call it 436 because it's an easy round number that we can do very quickly. Let's say they're at 436, down to 430, 450 is $1.50 in the SPY. That's 15 points in the ES. $1 is 10 points. 50 cents is 5 points. It's 1 penny. Pardon me, 10 pennies, 10 cents in the SPY equals 1 point in the ES, up and down during the day, okay? So if we're looking for $1.50 lower, 15 points, where's the ES right now? 44.20, just call it 44.20. 44.05, 44.06, 44.04 is that place, the same corresponding place right here. See that? And you can see the chart is the same 15-minute chart, and you can see it's the same place. If I put a line here, 44.0450, okay, that's the same place as the 434.50. See how that works? Let me know that you got that, Stevie, or I'll do it again. Yeah. How about let's do it while you're fresh. The 436.75 is where they would go to if they can start to pop them a little bit. That's 75 cents from where they are basically. If they're at 436, that's 7.5 points in the ES. That's right up here, 44.28, give or take. You always give or take a few ticks because there's a little slippage in the ES. Remember, 1 penny in the SPY doesn't do anything in the ES. 2.5 cents is the lowest you can get per tick. 2.5 cents SPY, 1 tick in the ES. So there's a little slippage there sometimes. Good, okay. You're welcome. Questions, comments, complaints? I'm gonna wrap it in 5 minutes. And we'll come back at 12:15 just to see where things are. I'll leave it open. I'll be back in 30 seconds. I just want to mention something for the newer folks that haven't heard me say this before. The market's like a store, okay? The store is open all day, okay? But when you go shopping at the store, you go to get what you need and you get out and you go home or you go to the next place. The market, you don't have to participate all day long. It's a morning business. So as we wrap up the morning session, 90 minutes into the day, 2 hours into the day, you can see what happens to the volume, the participation. They start to float them. It's not a trader's market anymore. You need movement as a day trader. Okay, you can be in a position and have them float up or down depending on whatever, but initiating new positions around lunchtime is a very difficult thing to do because look what they're doing. So just want to make everybody aware that the people that have been here for a long time already know that because we talk about it all the time. You don't have to be here all day. That's not how you make money in this business. You make money by piling up base hits and shutting it down, keeping it in your pocket, not doing stupid stuff in the afternoon, around lunchtime, not taking trades because you're playing with the house's money. You're not. You're playing with your money. All those things. You just got to train your brain to accept it for what it is. It's a morning business. And one of the reasons why we tend to lose a lot after the morning session is because it's a morning business. So when you realize that and you start to break apart your trades and say, all right, hold on a second. Let me look from a time perspective on when I was successful in trades and when I wasn't. And this is when people realize what I'm saying and they stop doing it. So they realize they break them apart. Say, all right, I'm going to take every trade that happened in the first 2 hours and I put it in bucket A. And I'm going to take every trade that happened after that and put it in bucket B. How am I doing? Who's got the better bucket? And if you're losing in the afternoon, turn the bucket over. Shannon, 1,700 bucks on the Qs. Oh, you took that trade. Wow, that's fantastic. Nice job. Trade that was, yeah, I'm already in a trade. I'm already in the IWM, so I had to make a decision. It was fine. Yeah, you did great, Shannon. Again, I gave you the information. You know what you were doing, and you knew where it was wrong. They didn't even got to the top end of the zone. You were fine. As long as you have the zone, Riz, but most people don't. That's the problem. As a general rule, if you're trading around my numbers or your own that work, whatever, you can, sure. As long as you understand what you're doing. Sure, Chet, I will give it, yeah. Give me a couple of minutes on that. PayPal, let me take a look. 69.68 is this breakdown candle high. And then there's no man's land. So I see what you're looking at. You're looking at the same concept we talked about on LITE, L-I-T-E before. And that's if they get up here, over here. That's the next spot, 71. So you're right in the 71, but are they going to get above here or are they just running a test? First time, best time, they're likely just running a test first time. Doesn't mean they won't get above, but for them to bust through the first time is not necessarily the norm. Okay, well, yeah, Ron, sure. Yeah, I would. I would protect it, but I would make sure that I would suggest that if they can work their way above 436 and a quarter, there's another leg higher. But if they can't stay above 436 and they continue to fail, then that's not good. That's both sides. Yep. Okay, Ron. Nice job. All right, let's do an if then real quick. It's pretty simple. We just talked about it. If they can't get above 436, they're prone to fall. Below the low, it's 430, 450. If they can get above 436 and a quarter, it's another 50 cents up to 436.75, and then comes the pivot, 437.30, maybe a spike of it. That's the if then. Okay, Chet and everybody. Last call for alcohol. Okay, the Qs. If then for the Qs. Well, let's take a look a little closer. 366. They want to get to 366. They have to stay above 374.75 to do so. Okay. 376, pardon me, 366 is going to be overhead resistance. 366 to 366.30. Okay. I don't have those quotes, Riz. I'm sorry. That's a whole nother package that I don't subscribe to. If you have an ETF that follows it, I can look at that, but I don't have that symbol. Sorry. Here comes another attempt. AUS. They filled a gap. See this gap here? The price is 31.70. So if they get above 31.70, which they're eating time off the clock now, they're not being rejected from, they just found resistance at 31.70. So there's a difference, right? Resistance is first they stop going in the direction they're going. Doesn't mean they're getting rejected. It means that they got to work their way through. They got to grind it. So they've been grinding it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th day that they are grinding it. All they did was attempt to fill this gap and missed it down here from the 12th. That's it. That gap is, I'm just doing this in real time, just telling you what I see. 30.62, low here, 30.68. open gap, unfinished business, call it. They're eating time off the clock. So if they can get above the high, then they run to the top, or at least they can. 33. Above 33 opens the door for 34.50. All this falls apart if they get below 28 bucks. That's my take in AUS. Okay, Riz? Hopefully that helps somewhat. You can correspond that chart to the other one, I'm sure. You're welcome. All right, I'm going to turn into a slipper. Let's take a break. You know the game. 436.75 is the place that they're going to try and get to, and if they can't stay above 436, they're going to fall eventually. But you can see they were eating time off the clock under it. Now they're pushing. So 436.75 and then the pivot. 437.30 is the next place. Okay. Be back about the 12:15 or so. 434.50, Armand, but you have to see it in real time. You have to see it in real time. If they're failing in the afternoon, you just don't know what it's going to look like. So it's hard for me to say what's a good number in the afternoon. Very tough. That one, Riz? You see these highs. I mean, you get above these highs and there's another leg in it. I'll give you the next resistance point. I got to look on my other screens. I want to run the calculator real quick. Bear with me. Okay, that's your next. I would call it a target, even though there's a gap in front of it. I would call this a target and overhead resistance right there. If they get above these highs, if this is just another test, look, huge breakdown, tested it. Another breakdown, back up. We don't know whether it will or won't get rejected at this point. If they get above, that's your target. If they can't get above, they're going to fall to the last breakout area, 120, 175. Okay, Riz, that's this chart. All right, good. Now, taking a break. Be back at about 12:15. I'll put up the sign and then put it down here. Okay. Take a break for a while. Don't do stupid stuff. We'll be back in a half hour or so. We'll see what's what. It was a nice morning. Well done, folks. All of you. All of you who participated, well done. Okay, I'll be back soon. Thanks. Okay, back for a little look-see. So they're trying to work up to what? 436.75 and then maybe the pivot. That's it. Just it's a grind. It's slow motion market. Those that are long are certainly able to ride it. You're not looking for a new entry here. You're either already long from before, or you're a spectator, or you're not even listening anymore. You're gone. We got any questions out there? Bueller? Thanks, David. Yeah, trying to stay awake. I agree, Shannon. Let's see. We're looking at Devon. You want to support on Devon. Okay, well, you got the gap. That's it. It's just so obvious when you bring up the chart that that's where my eye went. And it's somewhere in between, 47 and 47.70, 46.70. That's it. Okay. It was just that quick. I didn't look at it before. I just brought it up and that's what I saw. You see this? This is like the spider breakup candle low. This is what they're fighting now, but it's too late. You can't buy it. This is the next spot. And then below that is 46 and a half. That's it. So 47 to 46 and a half is a 50-cent zone in Devon today. You're welcome, Andy. Yeah, Chris, I wouldn't blame you. After all this, I wouldn't be waiting for 437.30 either. Yeah, it just comes a point in which you got to go do something else. Can't watch this, because if they come up short and they start to pull back, you're going to be like, oh, come on, I've had enough of this. That's the way it works. That's the emotional part of this thing. There you go, Robert. 2 for 2 today. Listen, you take it and you pocket it and you move on and you let the account grow that way. There was no doubles, triples, home run today. Were base hits. And that's what they gave us. You know the drill. Never know what you're going to show up to. There'll be another day this week. Maybe we have an opportunity for a double, triple, home run, whatever. Not today. I forgot to do one thing, so I'll still be back in a couple of minutes. I'll put up the sign, but I need to do one thing real quick. I'll be back in a couple minutes to answer some more questions. There's your pivot, or it's coming. All right, so anybody that was long from earlier on that last trade, the third one, you're done, or trader's choice. Just going to update the notes. I'm right here. Who was riding it up there and took an exit? Who was patiently waiting? Chris, nice job. Jacob, 3 times. Or I'm sorry, Whopper Jr. Chris was 3 times. Nice job. Great job, Grant. No, Will, don't do that to me. Don't look to short something right after a long 3 trades, lunchtime. Please, please. You don't have to have another trade right now. You want to short it, that's up to you, but that's not the program right now. The program is we're done. Gotta learn how to keep the money in your pocket. You can short it if you want, but that's your choice. It's resistance, but that's your choice. 3 for 3, I'm not looking for something else at 12:30 in the afternoon. 2K, Paul, nice job. Shannon, great job. Still with a trailer. Paul, Joel was on a ride. Jesus took a profit. Joel's still holding 1. Well done. Even though it was in slow motion, it's never changed. You want to short a tape in an uptrend after they just recovered back to the pivot after 3 trades in the morning. That's my point, Will. I just don't want to do it. It's I have to have another trade type of trade. I'm not doing that to you, Will. I'm trying to help you. I guarantee that. Doesn't mean it won't work. Doesn't mean it can't work. It means sometimes you have to know when you're just taking that extra bite that may come back to bite you. And I don't know that it will. I'm just saying 3 for 3. Plus, some of you even got Alcoa. Was it Alcoa? Yeah. Yeah. Some of you got a trade on that. Got up to 34.55 or so, 58. You know, what else are you looking for? That's your base hit, right? That's 4. Nice job, Shannon. That's fantastic. 2100, 1 left as a trailer, plus the Q short from last week. Great start to the week, you bet. Anybody have anything else out there at this point? We're done. I'm gonna wrap it. Take it for what it is. Know when to fold them. Yeah, Kyler, you bet. See you tomorrow. I'll just keep it open for another few minutes. Any last questions, roll in. Speak now or forever hold your peace. You're welcome, Paul. Gold, let's take a look at gold. An entry? No. No. Took care of some unfinished business today, that's it. No. The entry for gold is lower. Whether they go lower or not is another story. But there would be an entry if they went lower. Not today. That's fine, Bob. There's nothing wrong with that. You never know. They can get up another 10 bucks today on the ES, right? In the SPY. $1 in the SPY, 10 bucks in the S&P. Who knows? Why not? We don't know they will or they won't, but holding a trailer, there's nothing wrong with that. Just keep moving it up. Don't even let it go back to your entry. Last call. I don't know about that one, Nick. What's the high? 437.20. I didn't even get there yet. No, 36. I'm sorry. I was looking at the wrong number. 437.36. Yeah. There you go. All right. Last one I'll look at is Tesla. Tesla. Fill the gap. Right? We talked about this. You get up here, over there. The high was 57.50, 257.50. The next spot is the gap, 265 and a quarter. What are they at? 268. I mean, 275 is the next spot. Natural number. 275. 275 to 283 and a half. Remember how this was? Remember how many times did I say it's not a short? Even though there was a day or two in here where there were some shorts available, but what did I say in the big picture? There's no short here. You know, if you caught this, that's fine. Maybe you caught a short on this day, probably not. But there's no short here. How many times could you have said, or did people say, I'm going to short Tesla right here? From where? From here, from here, from here, from here. I mean, come on. You wait for Tesla to reverse. And this is why there was no short at the pivot, because it's lunchtime. It's not the same participation in the market. It doesn't mean they won't come down. It just means it's a much more difficult trade in an uptrend. After they found the morning low, we talked about that. After they find a morning low, you're not looking for too many shorts around lunchtime or in the afternoon. Not that they don't go back and forth. It's a morning business takes over, and that's where your bread is buttered. The other trades are harder, and that's the reason. Back to Will. It's harder. Not that any trade is easy, but it's harder as the day wears on. That's just a fact. They go back and forth 20, 30 cents. Torture trade. All right, folks. We're going to give it a wrap. Great day. Leave it at that. 4 possible trades. A lot of you got 2 or 3. Fantastic. What else can you say? I posted something on Twitter. You Twitter people out there, please go comment under it. Do me a favor, if you would, please. And with that, enjoy the afternoon. Enjoy the rest of the day. We'll be back tomorrow in uniform, ready to go. Please don't do stupid stuff in the afternoon. Take the money. It's yours. You're not playing with the house's money. There's no such thing. All right, folks. Appreciate everybody. Great day. We'll see you tomorrow.